Welcome to Spillin Sweet Tea, the podcast that pours out a little bit of the good happening all around us. I'm your host, Morgan Robinson, and I am so excited to be continuing our series with the YWCA Charleston Women of Achievement, honoring these amazing ladies doing wonderful work every day in our community. Today on Spillin Sweet Tea, we are joined by Adrienne Worthy, a familiar face to many of you. She's been such an advocate in the Charleston area for so long. After 28 years of service as Executive Director of Legal Aid. You are retired.
I am retired.
Are you so
yes.
happy to be retired? I'm sure you miss it.
It was time.
Yeah.
But I miss it, but it was time.
Wonderful. Well, Adrienne's career has really been defined by a deep commitment to fairness, to dignity, and to ensuring that justice works not just in theory, but really in practice and in the everyday lives of West Virginians, just like you, just like me. So we're excited to talk to her today about advocating for individuals with disabilities who have lost medical benefits, looking at the big picture of democracy and the very personal realities faced by our neighbors, I think especially in a climate like we have today, both economically and politically. So Adrienne, so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me, Morgan.
Yes.
I'm delighted to be here.
Wonderful. Well, we'll dive right in. What is bringing you joy right now?
Well, a lot of things bring me joy. I feel like I'm the kind of person that probably finds joy in the little things and maybe some of the typical things, grandkids, dogs, a good book. But probably overall, being outside gives me joy. And there's sunshine out today as we're sitting here, and I just love being outside.
We have been cooped in for way too long. The winter weather, I feel like I get what The Shining was about. I get it. It was just, yes, it's like the ice was encapsulating me. So I fully agree with that. Everyone has been in so much better spirits with the sun out and being able to chip away.
Ice melting, and yes.
It's so lovely. You mentioned dogs as well, which are probably my favorite subject of all time. Do you have dogs? Do you have pets?
I do. I have a rescue pup named Leo, who is a very odd combination of, he's a chow, he's a poodle, he's a chihuahua, he is a cocker spaniel.
Oh my goodness.
Because of course we had the DNA done.
Yes, same,
so,
yeah,
we
absolutely.
had to do that. And so he's a very adorable, weird combination.
Oh, I love a weird combination so much. So we have 3 rescues.
Okay.
We also they're little guys. We call them the Rat Pack. You guys have heard me talk about them before. I actually call them assholes because one of them really is.
Leo has borders on that a little too.
It's the Chihuahua. It is. But our oldest, Stella, her embarked DNA was Pit Bull and Chihuahua.
Oh, wow.
Which is wild combination.
That's a strange combination.
Yeah, and we found relatives all over the place from her. So I think she was feral when we grabbed her.
Did you see on the... When you do the DNA, when you find the relatives, they tell you how to contact them so you could set up, like,
yes!
That blew my mind.
It blew my mind as well. So funny enough, Stella has a sister named Bella, totally unknown, in Dunbar.
Have you set up the play date?
We have not set up the play date, but we have swapped photos and stories, and she was also like a rescue. So these two, and just so funny that we named ours Stella, they named theirs Bella. They look very similar. Mm-hmm. It's just wild. I digress. I could talk about dogs all day. That's probably...
They do bring joy.
They do bring so much joy. What is a moment that's moved you? You've had a lot of life changes in the past year. So has anything felt more moving than others?
Well, I'd say over the last month specifically, one of the things that moved me has been the collective action in our country against injustice. I find myself being tearful. I find myself being moved. I find myself mad, kind of that gamut of emotions that come when you're looking at injustice and people's response to it.
Nothing makes you feel more alive than having that like cacophony of emotions just swirling through your body. And I think the anger fuels me at points because it does let me know that I haven't lost my humanity and that I haven't, I'm radicalized by decency and compassion. I'm getting teary as well because it is, I think it was Sam. Someone has asked me the question, what keeps you up at night?
Right.
And I said, I have my personal things, anxiety, all of this, but the state of the world and humanity is probably the thing that makes me lose the most sleep.
And
So
if you're waking up in the middle of the night and your brain clicks on, that's where it can
that's
start.
where it goes. And
Yeah,
you just dive down rabbit holes and you're weaseling your way through. And yeah, it's tough.
I find that the response to some of the injustices that are out in the world by everyday people from all over the country, no matter what course they're taking, it moves me and it charges me up. And I get inspiration and I want to take action. And I hope others feel that way as well.
I agree. It's very, I love Mr. Rogers. I think he is so pure, but looking for the helpers. And I think those, as you said, even subtle ways of standing up to injustice, those are the helpers that we see every day. So that's given me joy as well. I love that. So you've probably given a lot of advice in your time, I would say. I feel like you're a wise lady.
I don't know about wise. I think maybe one of my superpowers has been able to manage people who are the helpers.
Yes.
And that has been awfully fun over the years because it means that the work that those helpers do is translating on the front lines. And so when we were able to get all pieces of our legal aid program working together or deploying resources to help a specific person, it just felt so good.
That's wonderful. Any advice that you've received that you would like to share, the best piece of advice maybe?
It's not so much advice. It's a quote that I've seen, but I used to put it on my signature line. And whenever I held meetings, it would be on the agenda. And I researched it. I thought it was a Navajo quote, but I was wrong. It came supposedly from Africa, and it is basically, if you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. Yes. And I just think that speaks to things I care about, but also the world today.
Yes, yes. Oh, that's such a great quote, and it's one that I think I should more frequently revisit. I have a hard time delegating, so I fully understand the meaning of that quote. So,
well, I worked with so many smart people, and when you get them around the table and allow their brains to contribute, you always felt you were better than the sum of your parts. And again, that's what charged me up. I was removed from the front lines. I wasn't seeing clients, but I could feel really great knowing that we came up with solutions that put resources in the field or, deployed people in a way that would make a difference in a community.
Wonderful. I think I may know the answer, but you might surprise me. What is something you're unapologetically passionate about?
Well, one might surprise you, but I'll start with justice. I mean, it's been the theme that we're talking about, and it was been a major theme in my career. And the rule of law, the legal system, fairness for clients, I get passionate about that. And I was fortunate enough to be able to work in a field where that was our mission every day. On a total other direction, one of the things I've become more passionate about in retirement is travel.
Yes.
And I see travel as a political act. I see travel as an educational act. I love seeing how people live in places outside the United States or in the United States. And so that has been sort of a new joy.
That's so much fun, and that's one of the things Susie and I talked about as well during her conversation. If you missed that, Susie Salisbury and I, another woman of achievement, chatted, and she's also equally passionate about travel. And I think really excited for her retirement when it may come, so she can do that more frequently. But we talked about even just traveling in the United States.
In West Virginia.
Yeah, but outside of your neighborhood.
Right.
So we went to Cooper's Rock cabins, the stargazing cabins. So beautiful. They were featured in National Geographic. It's a beautiful part of West Virginia that we have, within a very short driving distance away. Just get out of your own backyard.
Did you watch the stars?
We could not watch the stars. It was raining. I was so disappointed. So we hope to go back when it's a little bit nicer weather. But it was beautiful because it snowed on our second day. And we had the fire built, and so all the, mountains in the background. It was very beautiful.
I took a trip with a granddaughter last spring for her spring break, and we went to, of all places, Niagara Falls. And I
Yes.
had been there years ago, but seeing it through the eyes of a 14-year-old, and particularly standing on the street in Canada where she sees all the Guinness Book of World Records place and all this ticky-tack stuff, she's like, this is the best day of my life. So,
And I think that makes a difference. Even if you have traveled, when you travel with new companions,
Yes.
especially young people, and see the world through their eyes, it just opens it up in an entirely different way. We have 22-year-old twins, and so things that we had done previously and now we get to do with them, it's been so much joy just to watch them experience life. And that's really, traveling is the best way to do it.
I agree. We're fortunate enough to have a son who lives overseas with his family. And so he has opened up some new worlds for us where we're spending some intense time, first in Brazil where they lived and now in Spain, and just getting to understand different cultures and traditions. It's really been fun.
You realize the world is much smaller than you think it is, and that we're all much more connected than we imagine when you're just looking outside your window or looking at the screen of a phone.
Well, and at the end of the day, you realize that all people want is to be accepted and loved and healthy and have their families be healthy, no matter where they are.
No matter where you are. Yes, I completely agree. So are you from Charleston originally?
I am not. I grew up in northeastern Ohio and moved here right after college. So I'm a West Virginian by choice.
Yes.
But have been here 46 years.
Wonderful.
I think it's 46, and raised our family here.
Yeah, so very much a West Virginian.
Yes.
If you had it to bottle up a piece of your hometown, though, what would you bottle up and
My
share?
hometown in
Back
Ohio.
in Ohio. Ooh, I know that's a tough one.
Well, I would say I really do feel at home here. The one thing that I feel like West Virginia misses is a Great Lake. I grew up along the shores of Lake Erie, and I do love to go home. And every trip involves just a ride down to the beach to Lake Erie. And one of the highlights when we were staying up visiting family last summer was we got to see the Northern Lights over Lake Erie.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So that, West Virginia needs a Great Lake.
I would agree with that. I love a body of water.
Yes.
We go to Sandusky, to Cedar Point quite a bit, and just being there on the shore and seeing it's such a beautiful area that people don't take advantage enough of, because it's not a far drive from here, and there's a lot to do around that area. So beautiful. If your life had a soundtrack, now, are you a music fan? Are you a music person?
Well, I wish I was, but I think I could answer this, and it would be that as a West Virginian by choice, I would say country roads. Now, that's not the music probably you were thinking of.
No, I love that.
But I do. I get very emotional over that song. And it just never fails to move me because we didn't have to stay, but we love it here. We love the land. We love the people we've met. We love our community. And so that's the soundtrack.
I think that's such a beautiful answer. I'm also West Virginian by choice. I'm from Kentucky originally, so we've got the tri-state represented. Yep. And I did not understand country roads when I moved here. It was like, they teach this in school, and don't get me started on Golden Horseshoe. You people in your Golden Horseshoe.
Actually, my son, we love the Golden Horseshoe.
Oh my gosh,
I had a son
I'm telling you, you guys, I thought people were joking with me about this, and really, you literally spent an entire year studying. No,
and you're knighted.
And
when
you're
you
knighted.
win the Golden Horseshoe. Yes.
I'm knighting. Yes, it's absolutely. I have so many questions about how that originated, but I appreciate it, and I love it, and I love the pride that it ingrains in people at a young age, where they're young enough to still get excited about it, but old enough to really understand and retain that knowledge. So very beautiful. But I remember my first country roads circle, right? With all the swing, and I was like, I'm really going to learn all the words to the song. Yes. People were like looking at me like I was, I was some.
As you mouth the words.
Like watermelon, banana. Yeah. I know all the words now. Nobody come at me. I know all the words. I can sing. John Denver's my homie. Like, we've got it. But that's such a wonderful answer, especially for a West Virginian by choice.
Yes.
You often describe Legal Aid's work as having been both big picture and deeply personal to the people it impacts. After your time there, what moments or stories really illustrate how access to justice changes lives, especially here in West Virginia and Appalachia.
I think it's helpful to think about that the people who came into legal aid, often we were seeing them on their worst day. Somebody who had experienced domestic violence, someone who has lost the benefits to which they were entitled, someone whose belongings were set out on the street corner because they had lost their home. And so to those people, it was incredibly personal. And I think back to some of particularly the domestic violence stories where there was life and death work that went on.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the women that I remember that was a client of legal aid was escaping a domestic violence situation that was so bad that her husband was making her dig her own grave on a hillside in a rural county in the state. And she was just one of the people that I think of that without legal intervention, along with partners, particularly the domestic violence programs, they are the true angels in that they give the people a lot of tools to escape situations. But one of those tools is access to legal services. And so we see people on often their worst days, and we take a particular set of skills and deploy it so that we can change the outcome. And it may be the exact outcome that keeps them safe or finds them a place to live or means that the SNAP benefits are reinstated and they can eat for the remainder of the month. Or it may not quite be that, but the power imbalance that is so often present in the legal system is addressed because they've got a trained lawyer by their side. And that's that personal piece. But the big picture is the trained lawyer by their side. They're accessing the justice system in the way that I think our founders intended, that there's a balance, that there is a level playing field, and attorneys give you access to that.
That access to just having an advocate, and I'm not well versed in the legal system because I haven't had to be, and what a privilege that is for me. But I can't imagine being in a situation where you had to learn real quick. And being able to have that advocate that's helped to guide you and take that pressure off of you when you truly are just worried about fundamental needs like shelter and food and safety and health and your life.
Right.
That's not going to be your first train of thought. So having that team of people behind you is so inspiring.
It's really important. Unfortunately, I experienced it there, and it's true today, is that for everyone who needs a lawyer, there's not a lawyer. And so a lot of what we had to do was triage and sort of sort people out. Whose problem was the worst? Where could we make the biggest difference?
Yeah.
And it never felt fair, but the organization was trying to do the best it could with limited resources. And I think that's even more true now.
What does that look like then, the future, and how you navigate those resources and the feels like growing need for those resources?
I fear a lot with what's going on now that so many of the services that people need to not just survive but to thrive, the dollars that come from the government are being limited or questioned. And so many nonprofits who provide a safety net, those dollars come from the government. Donors certainly help, corporations help, but there is not enough donor dollars or corporate dollars to ensure that the safety net catches the people who need to be caught.
And all of the people that need to be caught. I think that makes so much sense, and something that people don't think about a lot is, you're supporting your client, but who's supporting you? And knowing that the resources needed are so vast that you have to have your own support system of probably fundraisers and lobbyists and advocates and people speaking out to really keep those dollars coming in. So you have a whole network that goes into supporting even just one client.
Well, and Legal Aid is one of many nonprofits in the community that's facing that now. I think that hopefully we'll get come out the other side, but there's been a real sea change in these organizations that have been a part of the community for a long time and are scrambling to figure out how to make it work into the future.
Mm-hmm. Picking up pieces.
Yep.
So women's issues have been really central to your career, from your time with the State Women's Commission to your leadership at Legal Aid. What do you see as some of the greatest gaps right now for women, specifically looking at their systems tied to housing and safety, food security, things like that?
Well, West Virginia, it's always been intriguing to me that West Virginia has one of the lowest labor force participation rates in the country by women. Mm-hmm. And it's probably chicken and egg in terms of the supports being there, particularly good child care, allowing people to go into the workforce and the jobs being out there. But I worry that without those supports, so many women are stuck in situations that they would like to move from, whether it's just bringing a second income to support a family, or, as we were talking earlier, domestic violence and situations where they have no economic stability to allow them to escape. So labor force participation and the supports that allow people access to health care and child care and a good job, I think, are so key for women to move forward. When I worked with the Women's Commission, one of the things that we did was keep statistics about the status of women in the state. And so that labor force participation number was one of them. But another number was the amount of participation by women in government. And when women have a seat at the table, the policies look totally different.
Totally different. Yeah. I'm very energized and excited to see the number of women that are putting their names on the ballot for this year. I think that regardless of the outcome, being able to pave the way for a level of comfort, security, and confidence for future women to put their names out there has given me hope. And as you said, we look for the little joys and the little sips of sweetness through the day. That absolutely gives me joy. I had the conversation with Megan Moses recently about childcare and what a barrier that is to independence and to economic stability for so many households, whether it's a single parent or a dual income mixed family. It's something that feels so simple but is so incredibly complex. And I'm glad that we have so many organizations that are taking a look at that and really putting their finger on the pulse of what that looks like and how we can make it better. But I can see that being such a barrier to independence.
One of the things that comes with being a Women of Achievement, that's one of my favorite things about it, is that we get to learn more about the YWCA.
Yes.
And so one of the things that they did was set up a tour of all the women or all the programs affiliated with the Y. And I thought I knew what they did, but it's just been really eye-opening. One of the places that we visited was the Melwolf Child Care Center. And I was blown away by the cost of child care as they described, looking at a really neat setup. You could see very dedicated teachers, a lot of energy and love going into the care there. And the cost to do that, I had 3 boys. I did the child care route. And, maybe it's comparable to 20 years ago. I don't know, but the cost of being able to put a child in child care for a day so that you can go off and support your family is pretty significant.
It's incredibly significant. And Melwolf is such a wonderful resource that I think a lot of people don't realize that is associated with YW or available at all.
And they have openings.
And they do have openings. Yes, they do have openings. And I know a lot of people are starting to, especially after the snow, and realizing, okay, I've got to find some alternatives.
Right.
It's such a wonderful resource. And I can personally attest to, having worked with their staff on a few occasions, how much heart they bring to the table and how much passion they really pour into the work that they do every day. But the solutions are becoming more and more limited. We see daycares and things like that closing. It's getting more expensive to operate. So I'm inspired by a lot of programs like Wonder School that's really trying to come together and build those programs back up, because I never looked at independence as a privilege, and it truly is. I think a lot of people take it for granted, your ability to be independent.
Well, having the supports in place,
Yes.
whether they are supports like childcare or a group of family, friends, community folks that are there to lift you up as well. All of that allows for people to be independent.
Yes, it takes a lot of people to be independent.
It's that village you hear about.
It is. I know. Didn't somebody say that once? It takes a village to raise a child. Yes, no, absolutely true. What does it mean to you to be named a Woman of Achievement?
Well, I just mentioned the tour that we've been able to take of the Y, and that to me has been really exciting because I feel like some of the layers have been peeled back, and to see the real hands-on services that are being delivered there, and it makes me think about some potential volunteer opportunities there. But I would say that the other thing is just the company of really cool women. One of the things with the Women of Achievement is that they offer a couple activities. The tour was one, meeting other winners from the past is another. And then the final thing that we get to do, and it's a really fun get to do, is we get to mentor some young women at something called the Breakfast of Champions.
Yes.
And so I'm waiting for more details about that, but they said that we'll be spending some time with young women. And I think that sounds like a blast.
So we were able to attend, and actually we videoed the Breakfast of Champions last year.
Oh, okay.
I'll
Tell me
tell you
more.
all about it. It is such a wonderful time. So yes, we have different, I believe it's elementary, late elementary, or early middle school. I can't remember the grade level, of students from local schools coming together with some of their teachers. You have breakfast together. Each of you talk about your experiences, and then you have time one-on-one
with the girls.
To really have a conversation. And it was so interesting to me, being a mom of a girl and a boy, that the girls were at that stage where they have so many thoughts and so many feelings, and some of them have started to find the confidence in their voice to share those, and others were just terrified. They're like, my friend can speak for me. But to watch that shift during the course of the conversation, because the women that were surrounding them empowered them to do so and created that sort of air of comfort and stability in the room. It was so wonderful. The breakfast was at West Virginia State University, which is a college that we work with a lot. I absolutely love my Yellow Jacket family. And they got to take a tour afterwards. So being able to open the doors to higher education and other opportunities.
Being on campus
campus, yeah. Now, I think some of them were scouting out some of the boys on campus, but we're all human.
Right.
But it was wonderful because it really gave them a lot of different types of experiences of where your life can go and who you can be at this real crossroads in your age and your development and your hormones and everything else that's going on to have that goal line.
Well, and we forget, with social media, with the media in general, you assume that young girls know about all this stuff, but knowing from seeing it on Instagram versus knowing by sitting in a room and talking with people, being on a college campus, what a difference that can make.
Yes, and how inspiring for a girl that is interested in becoming an attorney, but it feels so big and so scary and so hard to achieve, to be able to speak with you and have that mentorship moment at an early age that says you can do this. Here's the foundation. Here are my tips. I think that's such a gift that the YW gives the community that none of us really see, because it is, I appreciate that it's kind of behind closed doors.
Yeah, a little behind the scenes.
Yeah, a little behind the scenes.
It was so cool to see.
It's so cool, yeah. Very, very lovely. So lemon slice is something that we do where we talk about something that started as a little bit sour, but then added something to our cup. Is there something that's happened that was maybe started as a challenge or a bitter taste in your mouth that you ended up seeing the sweet side?
My lemon slice is a big piece of our life, which changed us, and that was being a flood victim. In 2016, we were part of the community. I live in the Elksview area that was impacted by the 2016 floods, and it was the first floor of our house was wiped out. We had to rebuild. We had to live on the second floor. So many of our neighbors were impacted. The little community in the Elkview area lost access to its shopping center by a bridge washing out. So very lemon puckered up.
Very puckered up, yes.
But of course, like so many things, the sweetness that came to it was the response of the community, not just to us personally, but to all the people around us, and friends and family for us, neighbors, anybody and everybody saying, what can I do to help? I had a hard time asking, but when we asked, people came with shovels and buckets and cheap rugs to put down in the mud and helped us dig out, and that was happening all up and down the area where we lived.
I had been here about 6 years at that point, and I was co-hosting on Electric 102.7 with Coach Kids. So we really had a finger on the pulse of the community, and we would try to share information and resources and things like that. And I think I got to see a little bit more behind the scenes than a lot of people. Yeah. I have never seen I don't even say community, a state come together. Like,
it was a fine moment. It really was.
It really was. It was so beautiful. I had one of my best friends owned a cake shop at that time, and she shut down her cake shop operations and turned it into a kitchen for people to come in. And they were just like bundling sandwiches, making lunch kits, and they would do this for the first half of the day and then drive all the supplies to Elkview, distribute all those meals to everyone, and then come back and do it again the next day. And just seeing people that say, you're in trouble, I can help.
We had random people, not only family and friends that were there, neighbors, but just random people from a church bring sandwiches by. The Red Cross saying, how's your mental health? Various government officials, just people with pickup trucks going down the road saying, can we haul off some of this stuff for you? I mean, it just, it really, it still just moves my heart to think about that. And so definitely, I never want to go through it again, but I appreciate the sense of community that came out of it.
That's probably my favorite lemon slice to date. That's wonderful. I mean, it is, and it brings me back to that moment and just realizing the good of humanity, and sometimes we show our best, which
we need those reminders.
We do need those reminders. That's what I'm hoping this show serves as, a little reminder of all the good that's happening around us that gets maybe outshined on social media, but not in life. So next we're going to pour one out, which is one of my favorite parts of the show, because everyone's like, I have so many people I want to, pour one out for, say thank you to. So pour one out, we like to give acknowledgement to someone, give them their flowers, so to speak. Who would you like to pour one out for, to say thank you or just show appreciation?
Well, we've probably talked a little bit about this, but I remain in awe of the people who work for nonprofits, and particularly who lead nonprofits, because it can be a really lonely job. With one of the real tasks is to make sure that your staff don't feel all the stresses and strains that can pull on an organization, particularly as it relates to money. So a huge shout out to the folks within our state who are running nonprofits in tough times. Another group that I think of, and this is a little just sort of off left field, but I love librarians and libraries.
Yes.
And way back, I was fortunate enough to work as the PR person for Kanawha County Public Library. And really, that's what fostered my love of librarians. But today, I mean, they are the protectors of the First Amendment. They are people who give access to the unhoused and to students and to, just safe spaces. And I love our library. And I think there's this new movie out, The Librarians, that came out Sundance, or I've seen it advertised. Want to see it, but I do think that they are superheroes.
They are superheroes. I could not agree more. No. One of my best friends, Megan Tarbett, is the director of the Putnam County Library System. Okay. She is the loudest librarian anyone will ever encounter.
They don't tell you to be quiet anymore.
They don't tell you to be quiet anymore. They're like, live it loud. She is, the amount of time she has had to advocate for things that we take for granted it's wild to me, but she does it every time with grit and with grace, which is something that Susie Salisbury mentioned in hers. Some of us have one or the other, but it's very difficult to have both at all times. And she does it. She does a great job of being able to keep her composure when people are asking what most of us would consider to be asinine questions. But you're right. It's so much more than books.
It is so much more than books.
It's a heart and hub of a community. It's a child's first look at education and a bigger world around them. It's a resource for people to get out of homelessness. I cannot say enough. That's such a wonderful pour one out.
Well, and in the rural areas of our state, that is the community hub.
Yes.
That is the place where the librarians know who the people are and what they need and can link them to resources. So, yeah, superheroes.
Superheroes, for sure. So we're going to move on to the sip list. This is a little bit quicker questions. Iced tea or hot tea?
Oh, definitely hot tea.
Hot tea. And you're a new, we talked about this a little bit before, a new tea connoisseur, if you will.
I am new, especially with all the cold weather and staying home. I've been doing hot tea in the afternoon while reading a book and just nirvana.
It's so wonderful. Put a fire in front of you, have the dog next to you.
Yep.
It's perfect.
All good.
So what are you reading or listening to right now?
Well, I have been doing some light reading or perhaps less serious reading. It feels like a nice antidote to the news.
Yeah.
And
Little break.
as part of my retirement, I joined a local book club that focuses on international mysteries. And I am reading things that I never would have picked up. We've read mysteries from South Africa and from Spain, from Belgium, English mysteries, of course, South America. And so it's introduced a whole new cast of characters and murders. And
Yes.
so that's been fun.
That is really fun. I'm going to have to dive into that. We'll have to start a book club, share some recommendations. As you all well know, I love my murder and true crime and, fictional crime, all of the above. Give me a good mystery. I'm here to solve it. What about watching?
Okay, this is going to make me sound like old lady here. But again, I find that there is a theme where watching gentle and kind things, reading gentle and kind, well, I guess murder's not kind, but
it's fine.
Distracting
things, yes.
So my husband and I watch a variety of arts-based competition shows out of England and Canada.
Yes.
And I love it because it shows you, first of all, people's creativity, and secondly, just how people look at things so differently. They can be staring at the same person, the same landscape, the same assignment.
Same block of clay.
Yes.
Yes.
And they come up with something totally different.
Yes.
And I really like that reinforcement of the differences through people's eyes.
The Great British Baking Show, the Great Pottery Throwdown.
Yep.
Give it to me every day. Those are very much comfort shows for me as well. I completely agree with that.
It's just terrible because we'll turn on, we watch landscape artists, portrait artists.
It's wonderful.
Glass art.
Oh,
Yes.
the glass blowing is fascinating. I always say field trips are so wasted on elementary school children. Like, take me to Blinko any day and let me watch someone
blow the glass.
I'm excited. We're talking with Nancy. Take me to JQ Dickinson. I want to do a salt tour. Like, I love a field trip. It's when I shine, if you will. You give me a hard hat on a construction site, I feel like I've made it. It's great.
Well, Morgan, I am very glad that you have not said that I'm an old lady for watching the shows, because you clearly are.
I am very much an old lady. If anybody is. Actually, my old lady name is Edith. You can ask all of our friends and family. This year, I picked up gardening. I have so many old lady, and I'm here for it. Okay,
go girl.
I think they're calling us grand millennials. I'm fine with that. I don't care what it's called. It brings me peace. It brings me joy. It makes me a little bit less insane. I think at the end of the day, we have to find our creature comforts. What is something you're grateful for?
Oh, I am grateful for young women. I just, it feels like sometimes that over the last 50 years, I guess I'm not quite that old, but that progress was made and lost. And I just love all the badass women that are out there now running for office and doing things in our community. And I don't want to sit back and put my feet up but it feels like there are other people out there really jumping in and doing some of the hard work, and I so appreciate that.
I completely agree. You know, our daughter is 22, and just seeing her resiliency and resistance, and you know, she's going to be a public school teacher, and what she brings to the next generation, it's inspiring. So wonderful. Who would you like to spill the tea with?
A librarian.
Oh,
You got to ask your friend on the show.
Oh, she's on my list. I have a lovely Excel spreadsheet of future guests, and she is right there. We're going to need like 2 hours. It's going to be an extended edition, though, for she and I to have a conversation.
I think you'd be reintroducing libraries to the public, and that's a public service in itself.
It really is. It's something, I think, you know, I looked at their calendar, the Kanawha County Library calendar, and I was just blown away by the amount of programming that they have as well. So on top of all of just the natural services that they have to offer, they're also out there throwing reading to a dog. Which I was like, is this just for kids, or can I come and read to a dog? My dogs at home are like, do not read to me. So our next segment is Passing the Cup, where you get to ask me a question. Do you have a question? So yes. I will say, we have never met until today, which is so exciting. I'm so happy to have been introduced to you and to be able to have this conversation with you. So I'm very interested to see what your question is for me.
Well, I told you either while we were talking or before we started that I have dipped my toes into podcasts, but it's sort of a new animal for me.
Yeah.
And I guess I would ask you, what makes a good podcast? Why did you start doing this?
So I don't know what makes a good podcast. We're still trying to figure that out. But what made me start doing this, it was on my mind, on my heart, whatever you want to call it, for about a year. And I think, as we've discussed, we are getting so much exposure to the negatives and to the injustices and to the black clouds that are surrounding our world right now. And I don't want to turn the other cheek and act as if they do not exist. That's not the goal. But the goal is to also start to infiltrate with a little bit of good. You know, the recently very highly contested Super Bowl halftime show.
Right.
The message, the only thing stronger than hate is love. And I fully...
That was wonderful.
I fully believe that. I truly believe that. And, you know, I've mentioned this on the show before, but one of the things my Nana used to always say is, love is not limited. It's not a limited commodity. We're not going to run out. Just because I'm giving you love doesn't mean I have enough.
She's a wise...
Emily could throw it down. She was very wise. But yeah, I mean, it's not limited. So why are we hoarding it and only giving it to people that we feel like have earned it or you know, are working every day? It's free. It's free.
So spread it.
Spread it. It's simple, and it's the simple joys. But I do want to reiterate, it's not that I'm looking the other way. I'm very much facing forward of what we need to do and how we can work together as a community to really make this world a better place for all that live in it.
Well, it's really cool that with your background, I take it, you reference working locally in radio.
Yeah.
That you're able to take those skills and put them to use in a positive way.
I have a gift of gab. If nothing else, I have a gift of gab. And I feel like if there was any word I could use to describe myself, it would be a storyteller. And I love telling other people's stories, and I love it even more when they're the ones sharing it with me. So this podcast is a very selfish endeavor for me.
You're enjoying it.
I am enjoying it so much. I hope our guests enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. And I do. I truly hope that at the end of this 45 minutes or however long, someone walks away saying, you know what? Either I didn't know the libraries did all of that. I didn't know legal aid was available. I didn't know that Mel Wolfe existed. Or, wow, what a fun conversation. I really enjoy getting to know Adrienne a little bit better. That's all I hope.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I hope so. So our last sip is up next. And this is just a little antidote that I find that sticks with me. This one is not so little, though. This is a very, very small snippet from a poem by Dr. Maya Angelou, Continue. My wish for you is to continue to be who and how you are, to astonish a mean world with your acts of kindness.
That's lovely.
It's so lovely. I encourage everyone to read the entire poem. She can do no wrong, but I thought just that little snippet alone, we all have that power. So I encourage you to. So that is it for us. Thank you so much.
I've enjoyed this a lot. Do we have to stop? I guess.
I know. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Adrienne again. Your legacy of persistence, of compassion, of unwavering belief in the justice system and in justice for all is inspiring. And thank you for sharing those resources with us today. We are also thrilled to celebrate you on March the 6th, coming up very quickly. At the YWCA Women of Achievement Luncheon. It's going to be happening at Embassy Suites. Tickets are available now, and this is truly one of my favorite events of the year. It's such an inspiring event. You truly leave with hope, with resilience, with an urge to do more, and with compassion for those that need. So get those tickets. Please visit ywcacharleston.org for those. Until next time, thank you for joining me on Spillin Sweet Tea. We hope that you will subscribe to us so you never miss an episode. Give us a little like, give us a little share, and until then, keep your tea sweet and your outlook sweeter.